minutes till broadcast. One minute till broadcast.
What's up, guys? Welcome into it. Hey, happy pre-Friday celebration. There is plenty to talk about and get to today. Sue Liebel will be on the program. She's the Director of State Affairs for the Susan B. Anthony Pro-Life America. We're going to talk about telemedicine and abortion pills today. Going to be an interesting conversation there. Plus, of course, we have Epstein Files stuff, so why the heck not? Let's get into that today as usual. Like it out, share it out, leave that comment, break the algorithm. Let's do this thing for your Thursday. Hang tight. Here we go.
Five, 4, 3, 2, 1. Begin transmission.
Broadcasting from the heart of the nation, the next generation in conservative talk radio. This is the Voice of Reason with Andy Hooser.
Oh, yes, it is. What is up, my friends? Welcome into it. It is your pre-Friday celebration. You see the light at the end of the tunnel. You're ready to rock and roll for another one. Carpe Diemism all over the place. That's what we do here on this show. I know we make up our own words. Totally fine, and it's great to have you here as usual, broadcasting out of the heart of the nation in Wichita, Kansas on our flagship radio station. But we are all over the country, so many great radio affiliates, and more coming up here relatively soon. Doing our thing.
Do it live!
Like we do every single day here on the show. Plenty to talk about. We are still recapping and recovering after the State of the Union address on Tuesday. Democrats very angry, saying that wasn't Donald Trump's State of the Union. That was Donald Trump's State of Delusion. Oh, that was so clever. Well done. Aren't you very proud of yourself, aren't you? You just think that you did it, man.
I'm a big kid now.
So, yeah, I mean, they're trying to come up with clever ways. They're not relatable, though, because they had their own rally that was filled with a bunch of weirdos. But we won't cover too much of that today. We'll see what the stage looks like now that we go into not off-season, but special election season, with a lot of special elections coming up on Tuesday next week. We are less than a week away from that. Donald Trump set to head down to Texas tomorrow on Friday, and then early voting is still ongoing with people hitting their last campaign pitches. So we will cover some of that and more throughout the program today. But if you want more information on the show, check us out, HooserReason.com, HOOSER Reason.com. Our handle at Hooser Reason on all of our social media platforms. And, of course, for the podcast, you can find us at The Voice of Reason with Andy Hooser on any of your favorite podcasting sites. All right, Sue Liebel will be on the program, bottom of the hour. She is the Director of State Affairs for the Susan B. Anthony Pro-Life America. We're going to talk telemedicine. We'll talk about the abortion pills and the Trump administration right now that is not yet really focused on that issue. It's still happening and running rampant across the nation. What does that actually mean? Before we do that, though, I guess we have to get into it. The big story of the day.
What's trending today?
That officially some hearings have been made today and tomorrow for the Epstein Files. The Clintons heading to congressional hearings, closed door, non-public hearings with the Congressional Oversight Committee to discuss the Epstein files and potential wrongdoings. And like clockwork, the Clintons, I don't know what's going on. At what point does it really matter? We didn't see anything. And even to the point of Hillary Clinton saying, I have never even met Jeffrey Epstein in person at all. I know. I know. Does anybody actually believe it? No, they don't. But that's where we're at. And here's the thing, and this is where the frustration part comes out for you and I, because as conservatives, we've been asking for the Epstein files since the death of Jeffrey Epstein years ago. We've been wanting this information out. We knew it was happening. I think a lot of people need to apologize to Alex Jones for talking about this issue that's been going on for a long time that everybody thought was crazy. Now it's mainstream to where we know it's happening, and now it's the political pointing of fingers on who's actually involved in the cases and who's actually doing wrongdoing. And let's be very clear, and this is where I think Donald Trump kind of muddies the water with him saying, at what point does this matter? Let's move on and talk about the great successes and wins that we've had in the Trump administration. Everybody wants the information out. Republicans, okay, I take that back. Everybody except the people involved in it wants the information out, including Donald Trump, by the way, because he wasn't involved. And he's been cleared how many times now? By the media, by the documents. Yes, he's mentioned in it a lot of times because there were a lot of business dealings, and they hung out in the same crowds because, well, they were part of the elites. They were part of the rich and elite people that lived in Mar-a-Lago and went to these parties and did this stuff. Doesn't mean that Donald Trump did any wrongdoing whatsoever. And now we have, we think we have all the documents. There's a rumor that there may be some that have yet to be released, but we hear that just about, 6-7 million documents have been released. We can read them all. And we can see the lack of involvement that Donald Trump was involved in any of the wrongdoings. But here's where the divide happens. While most people, Republican Democrats, unlike the elites, actually want this information out, one side, our side, wants everybody to be released and every bit of information to be released. The other side, they're looking for one particular name, and that name is Donald Trump. So the hearings that we're going through right now, are we really going to get any new information out of it? Will we really get any info or intel from the Clintons, Bill or Hillary Clinton, regarding Jeffrey Epstein? Probably not. Number one, because, they're a bunch of liars and they don't say anything truthful anyways. And number two, this is really about grandstanding for politicians to say that they really just want to get information out or that they're asking simple questions. But are we really going to get that information to the public, even if they do disclose anything again? Probably not.
The American people have a lot of questions. To my knowledge, the Clintons haven't answered very many, if any, questions about their knowledge or involvement with Epstein and Maxwell. Again, no one's accusing at this moment the Clintons of any wrongdoing. They're going to have due process. But we have a lot of questions, and the purpose of the whole investigation is to try to understand many things about Epstein. How did he accumulate so much wealth? How was he able to surround himself with some of the most powerful men in the world? Was he an asset for our government or any other government? These are the questions that we're going to ask over the next 2 days, and hopefully we'll be able to get some answers. And as always, we're going to release the transcripts. We're going to release the video as soon as everyone has approved it.
All right, so we'll see. We'll see what kind of information comes out. That was, by the way, James Comer from the state of Kentucky, and those are the questions that we are asking, and we want to know that information. I am always the eternal optimist. I'm starting to question and doubt on what kind of information we'll actually get, because the games have already been played. Again, for the other side, while they say they want the Epstein information out, they're only particularly looking for one name. That's one name that interests them, and they don't care about anybody else, which is why the Democrats, even in the Oversight Committee, are going on the defense and trying to defend the Clintons, even though we know for a fact, based on the documents, that Bill Clinton himself had been on the island 27 times.
Secretary Clinton never met Jeffrey Epstein. She never visited the island. She never flew on his plane. She also had no knowledge of Jeffrey Epstein's horrific crime. So zero knowledge.
Zero knowledge.
Of any wrongdoing. And you've also all heard that directly from her.
All right, so that was Representative Garcia, by the way. The Democrats going on defense. How dare you touch our golden child? How dare you touch the person that pulls the strings still behind the scenes in many aspects with the Democrat Party, which is the Clinton Foundation, which is the Clinton family, and it's unfortunate. These are the people. You got to remember, anybody, show of hands, anybody see the documentary? And I cannot remember which one it is. I believe it's the one about Barack Obama, but the documentary from Dinesh D'Souza. He's made a lot of documentaries. I believe it was the one about Barack Obama. And that was right after Dinesh D'Souza had gotten out of prison because of Barack Obama and his administration. And for those that don't know, if you haven't watched the documentary, Dinesh D'Souza came out of prison. He went into prison because he gave too much. He broke campaign finance laws, donated to a campaign too much than what he was allowed to. And the Obama administration wanted to make an example out of him, so sent him to prison for it for a decent amount of time. Well, to their, I guess, kind of backlash on them, didn't turn out too well. Dinesh D'Souza came out, made a new documentary, and talked about his experience in jail, and then kind of broke down exactly how the structure of the Democrat Party goes, and the Obamas and the Clintons, and he talks about organized crime within that documentary at the beginning of it. And it's fascinating because he talks about this organized crime on how they set up a system, and if there's any exposing of the system whatsoever, they deny, and they end up blaming somebody else. Of course we did it. And they will deny to the nth degree. They will never admit fault. They will never admit defeat. And they will always pass the blame off to somebody else. Signs of a true narcissist, but that's the way organized crime actually works. Well, the headlines that we're seeing all over today, it's the big headline on Drudge Report, and it's the big headline coming out of these hearings, is that Hillary Clinton's demanding that Donald Trump be quizzed under oath regarding the heinous crimes of Jeffrey Epstein, because Donald Trump knew Jeffrey Epstein oh so much. Oh, of course. So if you go along with the idea of how organized crime actually works, that you will never admit fault in any fashion, and you always have to deflect and turn it over to somebody else. So the deflection and the distraction and the desperation has led to the Clintons, of course. At what point does it really matter? We don't really care. I've never even met the person in person. I can't believe we're even here. Like, oh my gosh, this is such an annoyance and such a burden because we're actually here in the first place. And that's all we're going to get. That's all we're going to get from the Clintons. You can release the video. You can release the transcript. It's not going to matter. That's all that they're going to give you, which is insane. So while the other side, again, looking for one name, which is, of course, Donald Trump, they're now starting, at least some in the media, some of the Hollywood elites, starting to change the narrative just a little bit. And here's what I mean by that. The View had an interesting take on this. Yes, The View with all the wackadoodles out there, the bickering hens that are out there, they are changing their tone. If you remember throughout this entire conversation, that has led to the I guess, narrative in society about Donald Trump having been involved with Epstein because his name pops up so many times, that they pretty much say if your name's in there, then you knew what you were getting into by associating yourself with Epstein at all.
Trump has denied any wrongdoing, any knowledge of Epstein's crimes, and ever visiting his island.
I know nothing. I saw nothing.
Yeah, that's where that was before Donald Trump, of course. Donald Trump's just denying it, right?
My name is in the files.
Oh, whoopsies. Whoopi Goldberg, now in the files that's been released. And now they backtracked from the narrative of, if you were involved at all, then you obviously have been associated with, you obviously knew the kind of guy that he was, and therefore, obviously, you should be in trouble. And Donald Trump's name popping up so many times that obviously you knew what was going on. Now that their names are starting to pop up, the narrative's starting to change just a little bit.
Because we were at a party or a wedding or something that somebody might have been. That's what I found out anyway.
Yeah, no,
I was at Trump's wedding to Marla.
Right.
Maybe Epstein was there too. Who knows?
I don't know.
So that means that I'm not guilty, obviously. But these other ones, how are you going to decide who's really guilty and who's not?
I think
very tricky.
I think
it's very tricky. How do we decipher who's really guilty and who's not? Tons of names are popping up. Tons of people showing up to the same parties, flying on certain airplanes. What the heck's going on? Now we need to decipher who's guilty and who's not. So now it's not the basic default of, well, your name's in there, so therefore you're the problem child. See how that changed so quickly when they got sucked into it?
I think it's very clear, because if you look, you know why my name is there. because someone was looking for a plane, and that's what people do. They go to all the people who have private planes and say, do you have one?
And you didn't get on the plane.
I didn't get on the plane. I didn't know they were looking for a plane.
Yeah.
I had no idea that the plane that I was supposed to be on was no longer available. So I'm named in there like Whoopi Goldberg needs a plane.
Yeah, okay. So, and I'm not saying Whoopi Goldberg was involved in anything malicious at all. I'm not. Because this is the case that we have to go through. And I understand the investigators need to go through that a little bit deeper. I'm not saying, hey, how come we haven't arrested anybody yet? Because I know we have to go through all of this. I'm pointing out the fact that the narrative is changing dramatically. And while you and I want all of this information out, we don't want a whole lot redacted outside of the victim's name itself. Everything else should be made public. We should be able to see exactly what was going on. We need to do better at that transparency. The Trump administration, or more specifically, the Department of Justice, needs to do a better job at releasing this information, that we want all of this information. But the good news is the narrative has gone from offense of Donald Trump is evil and horrible and obviously the perpetrator here to, well, maybe we should backtrack a little bit. Now we have to go on the defense ourselves just a little bit because my name popped up. I didn't know my name popped up, but oh, I didn't do anything wrong. Maybe we should do a bit more vetting to figure out who's actually at fault here. Funny how that works. All right, when we come back around the corner, we're going to talk about some states, some issues going on with state legislative races, attorney generals that are filing lawsuits right now, and a heck of a lot more. Plenty of things going on throughout this week. It is the Voice of Reason for a Thursday. Stay here.
This is the Voice of Reason with Andy Hooser.
When America builds, the world follows. Our energy powered the 20th century. We've set the standard for generations, and we never waited for permission. But now, we're being held back. Outdated rules, endless delays. Without permitting reform, Washington's red tape is slowing us down while other nations race ahead. It doesn't have to be this way. We can clear the way for energy that's affordable, reliable, and built right here. Because what's built here is felt here. Lower costs, more jobs, stronger communities. That's what permitting reform makes possible. Energy didn't just shape our country, it powered the American dream. And with our innovation, we can lead the 21st century. Congress has a choice. Build America's energy future or risk falling behind. Tell Congress, pass permitting reform now.
Miss any part of the show? Well, don't worry. Now's your chance to go find the podcast and listen to as much of the Voice of Reason as you'd like. As the show continues to grow all across the nation with great radio affiliates, we also continue to grow as one of the top conservative podcasts, ranked 5th on the MillionPodcast.com Best 50 Conservative Leadership Podcasts in the nation, and number 1 on FeedSpot.com's 30 Best Conservative Talk Shows in the country. The show continues to grow each and every day. Just find us on any of your favorite podcasting sites at The Voice of Reason with Andy Hooser. Hey, did you know that you can have multiple different networks on one single smartphone? Well, with Patriot Mobile, you can. It's time for you to sign up for the Patriot Mobile primary phone plan with plans as low as $15 a month, where you can have 2 numbers and 2 networks on one single phone. And right now, if you sign up using the promo code REASON, you can get an entire month absolutely free. It's the Patriot Mobile One plan. 1 phone, 2 numbers, and 2 networks. And it's all at patriotmobile.com/reason. Again, patriotmobile.com, and use the promo code REASON.
What fuels the freedom to dream bigger? How did 2 guys in a cramped California garage reimagine the phone and put the power of the universe at our fingertips? At Americans for Prosperity, we believe greatness can happen anywhere. We just need freedom and the opportunity to make it real. But today, with a rigid system stifling progress, limiting creativity, and holding us back. That's why at AFP, we offer solutions that tackle the most critical challenges facing our country, so there's nothing standing in the way of America's next breakthrough. Because what we build today doesn't just shape the future, it defines it. How will you be defined? Take your first step today with Americans for Prosperity.
When you choose Patriot Mobile, you're not just picking a wireless provider. You're choosing a company that shares your values. It's easy to switch, and you can keep your number, your phone, and most importantly, your values. With Patriot Mobile, you get the power of nationwide coverage on all 3 major networks. That means wherever life takes you, we've got you covered on the same reliable networks you already know and trust. And when you need us, we're here for you right here at home. Our customer service is 100% US-based because we believe that support should come from people who understand you and your values. At Patriot Mobile, you're not just another call, you're a priority. In today's world, where you spend your money matters more than ever, every dollar is a vote for the kind of future you want to build. Join the thousands of Americans making a difference with every call, every text, and every connection. Choose a company that shares your values. Choose Patriot Mobile.
Switch today and get 1 month of service absolutely free by going to patriotmobile.com/reason.
When reason meets radio. This is the voice of reason with Andy Hooser.
And as a former prosecutor, I've been involved in leading investigations in serious offenses, and this ain't it. What we're seeing is political theater. What we're seeing is folks that are looking for headlines and tweets.
All right, so more Democrats that are just angry at the fact that we're even questioning the Clintons. They only want one name on that list, and they only want one name to be persecuted. They don't care about everything else that's going on, which is really unfortunate, whereas the rest of us want everybody to be held accountable, regardless of who it is, because of the atrocities of the Epstein files. It's crazy that it's back in the news. By the way, you may not have heard this one since all the focus was on Donald Trump and on Hillary Clinton, as according to Polymarket, and this has been shared by Congressman Thomas Massey, hat tip to that, is the fact that you want to talk about the elites here. The head of the elites of the world organizations, the CEO of the World Economic Forum, Borg Brende, has now, is that how you pronounce it? But we'll call him Borg, has resigned of his position as the CEO of the World Economic Forum due to the Epstein files. So, I mean, look. There's other names that are there. There are more important ones, and we need to go after all of them. And yet, there seems to be, from the media, from the Democrats, from the agenda, with all the grandstanding and everything else that's going on, that it's only going to be focused on a couple particular individuals. What a crazy time that we live in today. Hey, I want to tell you about my friends over at Lean. I have been taking this since January 1. I am now, 2 months into it. I feel amazing, and I want you to do the same thing as well. Because right now, if you are giving up on your New Year's resolutions, don't do it. Don't be a quitter so easy. Come on, man. Everybody's talking about weight loss injections like the GLP-1s because, well, one of the reasons is they're really dramatic. And they work by lowering blood sugar and reducing appetite. But what if you're looking to lose that weight loss and not be interested in the painful weekly injections, especially when you hear about some of the intense side effects that could happen as well? That's why doctors created a weight loss supplement called Lean, and the results are pretty remarkable. These studied ingredients in Lean have been shown to lower your blood sugar, burn fat by converting it to energy, and curb your appetite and cravings so you're just not as hungry. But Lean is not for the casual dieter with only a few pounds to lose. Doctors at Brickhouse Nutrition created Lean for the frustrated dieter that wants to lose at least 10 pounds or more, and let's get you started on that journey. Order right now with my promo code REASON, and you can start by getting 20% off and free rush shipping. Then you can add Lean to your healthy diet and your exercise plan. Go to TakeLean.com. TakeLean.com. That's TakeLean.com. Enter the promo code REASON for your discount at 20% off and that free rush shipping. Go to TakeLean.com and use that promo code REASON. Do it right now, and let's do this journey together. All right, as we wrap up I don't want to spend the entire program on the Epstein files because, well, I mean, that's it. We're going to hear more hearings tomorrow. Maybe Bill will testify. We'll see if we can't catch him up. I'm curious. I'm really curious to see what he says about the paintings of him in a dress that were at the Epstein Island, the fact that he's been there 27 times. I mean, you know that something was going on there. You know it, and he's got the record to prove it even outside of the Epstein files and outside of the Epstein Island. We know the kind of individual that he's been. We've seen multiple different photos of other incidences and other scandals that he's been involved in. So you can't tell me when he'll be like, I don't know what you're talking about. I really don't. I just don't know what's going on. Like, you know he's going to say that, and yet that's not going to go anywhere. He's going to plead the fifth, and he's going to just deny, and he's going to deflect. The crime organization, and I'm not, well, you can take it as you want, but the organized crime mentality of deflect, blame somebody else and deny everything and never step away from that type of mindset. All they're going to do, which is why we're hearing the headlines now, which, by the way, apparently Clinton stopped the behind-the-scenes testifying today because a picture leaked from Lauren Boebert, Congresswoman that was on the committee, that sent a picture to Benny Johnson, the social media influencer, and he posted it on social media. And because that went public, she ended up stopping the hearings today until that was resolved before resuming those questions. And the Clinton team, the defendants, or the people helping defend under the Clinton campaign or team or whatever you want to call them, they were angry and went to the media and said things have ceased until that picture is removed.
This is the Voice of Reason with Andy Hooser.
Hey, it's Andy Hooser with the Voice of Reason. Fighting for conservative principles seems more difficult all the time. The progressive left finds new and creative ways to limit freedom, abuse power, and trample the Constitution each and every day. That's why we need the knowledge, resources, and common sense to push back. And that's where we can help. Head to our website at HooserReason.com. There you can find our latest blog discussing topical issues of the day. Let us know your thoughts on current events with different surveys and chat rooms. And keep track of what I might be doing or where I may be speaking. Plus, when you head to the website, you can always get great deals and different offers from all of our great radio partners. Finally, if you want more of the show, you can find our podcasts with all of our great episodes and your favorite guests. And make sure to check out the latest Voice of Reason infomercials and maybe some other special content. And it's all because of you being part of the Hoosier-holic family. Let's continue to fight for conservative common sense principles together by going to HooserReason.com. Why? Because it's kind of the reasonable thing to do.
Truth, reason, and common sense. This is the Voice of Reason with Andy Hooser.
Probably not on the bingo card, but I want to thank President Trump for his work on this. Michigan is open for business. New factories making batteries, cars, chips are opening in Marshall, Lake Orion, Holland, Bay City, Calumet, Hemlock, Ann Arbor, and Delta Township. A new fire mission is coming to Selfridge Air National Guard Base in Macomb County.
Did I just hear that right? Hold on here. So that's Governor Gretchen Whitmer, the governor of Michigan, and not the biggest fan of President Donald Trump, but giving President Trump the credit for the fact that industry is coming back to the state of Michigan, the auto industry is coming back to the state of Michigan, energy is coming back to the state of Michigan, and actually giving him credit for that. So well done. I at least applaud her for recognizing that. Well done. Well done. Yeah. Welcome back into the program. By the way, as a reminder, our newsletter is coming out on Monday. That's right. Oh, right around the corner. We're in March already, almost. Can you believe we are at the end of 2 months of 2026? So the newsletter comes out first Monday of every month. Go to HooserReason.com, HOOSER Reason.com. Sign up, become the latest Hoosier-holic, and you'll get that newsletter absolutely free the first Monday of every month with our blog, information about the show, brand new affiliates on the program, and so much more. But speaking of state issues, let's shift gears a little bit. Go to our What's Trending.
What's trending today?
Outside of the state legislative sessions that are happening right now, as you know, since the reversal of the Roe v. Wade issue at the federal level, bringing abortion back down to the statewide level, the latest big battle outside of some states just opening up the Pandora's box and legalizing abortion on the front lines, coming from Kansas, we're like the central hub of abortion for the Mid-America region. Our state Supreme Court saying that somehow it's protected under our state Constitution, which is very weird because it wasn't even a thing back then. But apparently that's the way our Supreme Court justices have deemed it to be. But one of the biggest issues we're battling right now is the telemedicine, because you don't have to go to a doctor much anymore, or at least as much as you did before. You can do a virtual thing, you can get a prescription, you can have it mailed directly to you, and then poof, there you go. You don't have to worry about your medication. And some of that even includes the abortion pill, and that's where we're going to go to with our next guest on the program.
Let's go to the Hoosier Media Hotline.
To talk about the latest legal battle on this issue, she is the Director of State Affairs for our friends over at the Susan B. Anthony Pro-Life America. Great to have this guest back on the program, Sue Liebel. Sue, how are you, my friend?
Hi, thank you. I'm great. Thanks for having me back.
Yeah, appreciate you jumping on. And what a conversation. It is still ongoing. We've addressed a lot of issues under the Trump administration, but this is one where he hasn't talked much about it this administration as of yet for the first year. He says that he's the most pro-life president that we've seen. He spoke at the pro-life marches, unlike any other sitting president at that time. But when it comes to this issue, we haven't really gotten a new direction on this yet, have we?
No, we haven't. It's very disappointing. RFK said in a Senate hearing in September that under the Biden administration, the FDA twisted the science and buried some safety signals for the approved abortion drug Mifeprex.
Yeah. And
RFK promised that under the new leadership, they would study the issue. And we have asked, and lots of folks, not just us, including some U.S. senators, members of Congress, have asked them to hold off on the mailing thing until they have a chance to look at the research. You know, it's 26 years later.
Yeah.
The drug was approved in the year 2000. We got 26 years of experience now, lots of studies, peer-reviewed studies, what have you. But I got to tell you something. You were being a little too generous. This isn't telemedicine like you and I think of telemedicine, like with our doctor. This is websites that we don't even know where they're coming from, other countries. There are also some kind of bad actors named Aid Access and, you know, Plan C and some other sellers online that, in fact, Attorney General Ken Paxton just yesterday sued Aid Access, which is a large seller of the pills. There's no doctor. There's no medical screening like for pre-existing conditions. They're just selling pills.
Really? So there's websites out there where you can go and you can order these abortion pills from just a random stray website. You don't even know the credibility of it. You don't know who they are without even a doctor approval or recommendation at all. You just order this stuff and this random pill shows up in your mail.
And I'll tell you something else. You don't even have to be a woman. So we're seeing actually a new type of crime crop up that we're calling coercion. Some states are just starting to add that to their criminal statutes, where maybe an abuser, a sex trafficker, in one case, a girl's mother, just very unfortunate, have bought the pills and forced her to take them. A guy in Ohio crammed them down her throat while she was sleeping.
Oh my gosh!
In Texas, one husband tried 7 times to put it in her drinks, in her food, whatever. And
so we're talking like roofie situations here. Just slip it in there and
exactly.
let them take it. My gosh.
That's right. And we're seeing more and more, and it can be violent. We're seeing more and more of that. So we're asking for a review. We're asking the FDA under the Trump administration to take a pause. You know, that was a Biden FDA decision. It was under the guise of COVID.
Yeah.
But that, you didn't have to go into a bricks and mortar place. You could get them in the mail. But I'll tell you what, there are some very serious pre-existing conditions that if they are not ruled out, that these drugs can be super harmful for women. And we're seeing an uptick in the emergency room visits because of it.
Yeah. Well, I remember the conversation during the Biden administration. It was about actually allowing that to happen, and then at the same time saying that when abortion was brought to the state level, on where that fell, whether that was a state issue, whether you could purchase or sell it within your state, or whether it was a national thing because it was part of this telemedicine. I remember those conversations back in the day, and right now it sounds like even if you have a state that's banned abortion, you're still capable of purchasing these things online.
You are exactly right. In fact, what's happening now, even President Trump said, hey, back to the states. I wash my hands of it,
right.
Back to the states. That was a duck. He was ducking the issue because those states have limited abortion, or they passed whatever laws they're going to have, heartbeat or no abortion or whatever. So let's call them the red states. The red states have done what they're doing, and these pills are just flying in over the borders, coming from the blue states, if you will. Or other countries, like I said. And so now we do know that Louisiana and Texas have filed suit against a doctor in New York who admitted to sending them into those states. Well, that is illegal. It's illegal in those states. But New York and other blue states have passed shield laws to protect those doctors or those whoever is sending the pills. We will protect you. We will not extradite. We will not, recognize, interstate commerce experience and history on the country. So really, if you think about it, it's not just back to the states. There's a federal role here. The FDA is federal. The one big beautiful bill, when it defunded abortion providers, that's a federal thing. There are still some federal decisions to be made, and this is definitely one of them.
Yeah, and it sounds like they haven't taken it to the top of the food chain as a priority here. Your thoughts on RFK Jr. himself? I'm a big fan, obviously, with the MAHA movement, trying to go more natural, trying to get away from big pharma. I know that one of the concerns during his confirmation time was the fact that he has been a little waffly on the abortion issue throughout his track record in the past. Was that a cause for concern that when he did get into this position on how quickly he would move on these issues?
We were watching closely in the beginning. We wanted to see, the experience that he would have. We want to see what he'd do, what he'd say. And like I said, in September, he said that the Biden administration twisted the science on the abortion drugs, and that they were going to get to the bottom of it.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I think for political reasons, not just RFK, but maybe the White House have been dragging their feet in doing so. But we. Last week, a nationwide poll was just released, at least talking to Republican primary voters that they need to come out in the midterm. And up to a third of them said if the Republican Party backs off or slows down on the life issue, they may not be so motivated to come out and vote. So people really do care. And another poll, 71%, 7 out of 10 people, even if they're pro-choice, even if they want abortion,
right,
do believe that a woman should get them from a doctor and get a medical exam and rule out those conditions and, make sure it's safe and follow her experience along medically. And so people agree that you should get these drugs just like other drugs from a doctor.
Right. So that way you can actually learn about it. You make sure that you take it right. I mean, most of the people that are even for the abortion issue and pro-abortion are saying they're doing it for the woman's health, and therefore they want the woman to stay healthy.
Right.
So therefore they don't want any kind of shady pills coming from the internet. It's very strange. We're talking with Sue Liebel. She's the Director of State Affairs for the Susan B. Anthony Pro-Life America movement. Real quick, we have a break coming up in just about a minute or so, but tease the lawsuit, the latest that you guys have been working on that's coming out of the state of Louisiana.
Yes, there was actually a young woman named Rosalie Markovich, and her husband slipped her the pills. Unfortunately, caused the death of their child, a child that she wanted very much. And the Attorney General picked up the case and is suing on her behalf, is suing the FDA again, I might add, for allowing the ability, to mail the pills in to this man. He went online and bought them. And so the FDA, Louisiana is suing the FDA, again, trying to get this into court, trying to show that the experience that saves, and this is not the only case. I want to tell you, we're seeing more and more of these unfortunate cases. So you're going to see more of those in court going, and these states then are having to pick up the pieces of emergency room visits. The pills are much more dangerous. There are a lot more complications that women have with the pills that end up in the emergency room. That brings costs to the state, and of course, just the experience of trying to protect their women from this very reckless rule.
That's a major issue. Yeah, Sue, hang on the line. We got to take a break here. I want to talk about what we can do when we come back with this, along with the ongoing lawsuits against the FDA, trying to force their hand to actually make a decision on this. But what can states do? We'll do that when we come back around the corner. Stay here.
This is the Voice of Reason with Andy Hooser.
Big government is broken. Every year, politicians fail to pass a budget as the deficit continues to grow. Every month, unelected bureaucrats pile on rules no one voted for, strangling our economy. And every day, D.C.'s broken system gets in the way of the American dream. Washington isn't working, and the people pay the price. At Americans for Prosperity, we believe it's time to fix the system. Now, join the movement to make government work.
As you know, I'm always looking for a good snack, but it's hard to find good quality snacks without all the unhealthy additives. But now that problem is over. It's time to enjoy J&S Smoked Snacks. Real cuts of beef, real wood smoke, and real flavor that's crafted in small batches to keep every bag fresh. I promise you'll be addicted. And with numerous different flavors, you'll never get enough. This is not your average gas station jerky. It's J&S Smoked Snacks. Find them online at jssmokedsnacks.com and tell them I sent you.
When you choose Patriot Mobile, you're not just picking a wireless provider. You're choosing a company that shares your values. It's easy to switch, and you can keep your number, your phone, and most importantly, your values. With Patriot Mobile, you get the power of nationwide coverage on all 3 major networks. That means wherever life takes you, we've got you covered on the same reliable networks you already know and trust. And when you need us, we're here for you right here at home. Our customer service is 100% US-based because we believe that support should come from people who understand you and your values. At Patriot Mobile, you're not just another call, you're a priority. In today's world, where you spend your money matters more than ever, every dollar is a vote for the kind of future you want to build. Join the thousands of Americans making a difference with every call, every text, and every connection. Choose a company that shares your values. Choose Patriot Mobile.
Switch today and get 1 month of service absolutely free by going to patriotmobile.com/reason.
What fuels the freedom to dream bigger? Our country's greatest breakthroughs were born from bold ideas and the ability to take one small step forward. At Americans for Prosperity, freedom and opportunity find their defenders. Because our country's next giant leap is just around the corner. Are you ready to step up?
Hey, the live show may be almost over today, but it doesn't have to be for you. As always, enjoy the Voice of Reason with our daily podcast by finding the Voice of Reason with Andy Hooser on any of your favorite podcasting sites. Just find us, subscribe, have it automatically downloaded, and listen at your convenience whenever you want to bring some more reason into your day. And a lot of people are doing it. Also, you can always find the video of the show, along with articles, additional commentary, and maybe a few sarcastic remarks by following us on our social media. Stay up to date with everything going on with the show, including upcoming guests, breaking news stories, interesting articles, and maybe some memes. Help us in the ongoing battle with censorship and shadow banning from social media by following us on the social media at Hooser Reason on all of our social media sites. For all the social media links, podcast links, contact information, or just general information of the show, go to our website at HooserReason.com. There you can listen live every day, read our latest monthly blog, find our radio affiliate list, or even listen to our latest infomercials and special content. Plus, you can always reach out to the program by sending me a message on social media, emailing us at HooserMediaNetwork@gmail.com, or sending an email through our website at HooserReason.com. Whether it's content on the show, whether it's a guest that you've liked or disliked, or whether you want to disagree with me, and disagreement's always appreciated. While you're there, make sure to sign up for our monthly newsletter. Each month, you'll get the latest update on the show, updates from the Hooser Media Network, and our latest blog discussing topical issues of the day. Finally, if you want to help support the show, become a member of our Patreon site and help us fight for the cause of truth, reason, and common sense every day, and get more of the same by becoming the ultimate Hoosierholic. Get additional interviews that sometimes we don't always get to air on the radio. Hear our special segments or even our infomercials before anyone else, and have a chance to chat with other great Hoosierholics from all over. By becoming a Patreon subscriber, you're not only helping the fight for conservative values, you're helping us get more content and information out through the Hooser Media Network. Find out more information online at HooserReason.com. Lastly, follow and support all of our partners with the show. The Voice of Reason has been growing more and more every year, and it's because of so many great partners helping us get the message out to you. From show partners to local radio affiliates in your area to streaming sites, podcasting sites, and more, we have so many supporters and listeners now than ever before, and we want to thank you. It's time to bring back common sense, and we do it right here every day with the Voice of Reason.
America's safe space for common sense. This is the Voice of Reason with Andy Hooser.
They're trying to achieve intercontinental ballistic missiles. For example, you've seen them try to launch the satellites into space. You've seen them increasing the range of the missiles they have now. And clearly they are headed in the pathway to one day being able to develop weapons that could reach the continental U.S. They already possess weapons that could reach much of Europe, already now, as we speak. And the ranges continue to grow every single year exponentially, which is amazing to me. For a country that's facing sanctions, whose economy is in tatters, whose people are suffering, and somehow they still find the money to invest in missiles of greater and greater capacity every year. This is an unsustainable threat.
Yeah, that's kind of a great question. Marco Rubio, Secretary of State under the Trump administration, talking about Iran today, the ongoing threat there. Hopefully we do not have to have some type of military action against them. But he's right. We have a shambled country. We have a leader that's about ready to be tossed out by the people. We have the people that are in complete shambles and are getting completely wiped out from their leadership because they don't want to lose their Ayatollah kind of governorship that they have right now. And yet for somehow, even after us bombing them and all these UN sanctions, which you can see how UN sanctions actually work. Yeah, that one worked out great for them. That they still continue to make these ballistic missiles that have a further and further and further and further reach. I find that kind of strange. Where are they getting that money? How are they doing that? A lot of questions to be asked on that front. Real quick, I want to tell you about my friends over at Americans for Prosperity. As you know, we're talking about health care, like real health care, not the abortion thing, because abortion's not health care, at least for the person that's not going to be around after the abortion pill's actually taken. Our friends over at Americans for Prosperity, they are working on health care plans and putting the pressure on elected officials to create a better healthcare plan, better options for yourself, for your household, for your business, for whoever. And I want you to go to their website at personaloption.com. Personaloption.com. It's completely free, but you can see exactly where that conversation is and when Congress may be presenting a plan to repeal Obamacare and give us better healthcare options in the market with our friends at AFP and personaloption.com. All right, we're hanging out right now with the Susan B. Anthony Pro-Life America organization as we hang out with the Director of State Affairs, Sue Liebel, as we talk about the abortion pill. And way worse than I even knew or I guess it makes sense. Never let a crisis go to waste, right? People see an opportunity and they take advantage of it. And now we're seeing these pills being ordered directly off of random sketchy websites. And now we're seeing the roofie incident, not just roofies now in the bar, but now abortion pills being slipped into women forcefully or even unknowingly. Sue, this is a wild time to be alive. What the heck do we do about this? Is this something that state legislative bodies can handle? I mean, how do we handle this issue right now?
Well, that's a great question. Because of the inaction of the federal government and the FDA, who was supposed to protect us from pharmaceuticals, states are doing everything they can, they're anything they can think of, to try to limit the damage of this to their women citizens, their pocketbooks as well. So a number of states have passed laws that have allowed women, if they've been harmed, and again, remember, this drug has a 4 times greater rate of negative complications for her. 1 in 25 could end up in the emergency room. So states are allowing her or her immediate family more latitude in civil lawsuits to the manufacturer, the distributor, whoever prescribed it. For states that have gone ahead to say this is illegal in our state. In our state, she has to see a doctor first.
Sure.
Or in our state, she can't have an abortion at all. But most have said that we ban mail orders very specifically. You cannot mail into this state, and she has to get it from a doctor. And so that allows for not just the state to pursue, but also the manufacturers don't know if they're going to get hit with a $1 zillion lawsuit because she was coerced or forced to take it by a man who got them, when he's not supposed to.
Yeah.
Also, states are putting this drug on the list of scheduled drugs, on the list of dangerous drugs, like is required for opioids and heroin and things like that. At the bottom of that schedule, there's always a category for kind of dangerous pharmaceuticals that have a potential to hurt people. And the FDA's own label, that little thin piece of paper that comes in your prescription that you don't ever read, but it has, that label for this drug has a black box warning still today. And they still are dragging their feet to study it. So states are doing a number of creative things, unless and until the FDA will act to protect us.
We got a lot of work to do. We're slowly, I guess, moving in the right direction, but we have a lot of work to do on this one. Go check out all their great information.
Yes,
Susan B. Anthony, Pro-Life America. Sue, thank you so much for the update, my friend. Keep up this fight. Got to get you back on again soon.
Thanks. I look forward to it. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. Great conversation. We'll do it again soon. Until then, back at it again on Friday. Be your own voice of reason. Be that catalyst for change. We'll see you back on the radio soon. Bye.
Hey, it's Andy Hooser. When I get off the air every day, the battle for me against limited government, censorship, and even unfactual content is far from over. That's why now